Hey YouTube, it's Guy. I am coming at you today with, I guess I'd call it a response video. I was on YouTube just looking around like I normally do, and I saw in the suggested videos, you know, how YouTube recommends videos for you to watch, a recent, I think it was just uploaded today, a recent upload by the YouTube channel Watch Addict. And Watch Addict was talking about basically if he were the CEO, I guess, or in charge of Seiko, what he would do to the Seiko SKX as far as how to upgrade and modify it, bring it up into, you know, current times. Anyway, I saw that video, and at the end of it he said, should Seiko do this? Do you think I'm crazy? That was the question he posed. So I wanted to take a second to talk about his suggestions, maybe offer some suggestions of my own, and answer his question. I guess I'll answer his question. Do I think Seiko should do what he suggested, and do I think he's crazy? Yeah, some of his suggestions are actually way out there, and I pretty much wholeheartedly disagree with them, if I'm being honest. And don't take this as me bashing Watch Addict. I've watched many of his videos. I like what he does over there, so this isn't me being, passive aggressive towards him or anything. I just felt like offering up my own thoughts and perspective on a pretty interesting subject that he brought up. So anyway, what he said, basically I'll give you the rundown. If he were the CEO, or if he were in charge of Seiko, what would he do to the SKX line of watches? His suggestions go like this. He would introduce a regulated ETA movement. Replace the 7S26 with a Swiss ETA movement. He would remove the back... I'm on a NATO here. I guess I could pull it off real quick and show you, in case you've never really had a close look at the back of the SKX. But he would remove the solid case back, which features their tsunami engraved, icon, logo, whatever you want to call it. He would replace that with a exhibition or transparent windowed case back. And then on the winding rotor, he would engrave that with their tsunami logo and branding stuff. He also said that he would upgrade the bezel to have a ceramic insert as opposed to the, I believe it's aluminum that's in the SKX presently. And he would also improve the click, is how he described it. So I assume he means the spring action of the bezel. Mine's actually pretty good. I have no complaints with it, to be perfectly honest with you. So, just to throw that out there. The quote-unquote click of mine, pretty snazzy, if I'm being honest. What else did he say? He would update the dial with applied markers and an applied logo. Now, he also said he would upgrade the Jubilee bracelet. He would keep it on a Jubilee bracelet, but he wants to see it with a milled clasp, and he wants to see it have solid links, both the overall links on the bracelet itself and the end links. And he said one other thing that was really weird. I feel like maybe I must have misunderstood or misheard him. I listened to it 3 or 4 times, and here's what it sounded like he said to me. On the rubber strap version, he wants an Italian rubber strap with a vanilla scent. Let me repeat that, a vanilla scent. I don't know, maybe I'm not, I don't know, I've had Casios that have what they call their resin strap. It's a rubber strap. I've never heard of a rubber strap having a vanilla scent. I don't know what that's about. Again, I feel like I must have misunderstood or misheard him, because that doesn't make sense to me. Regardless, we'll cross that off the list and not even talk about the strap version, because I've never owned it and I have no interest in it anyway. Now, he said doing all of these upgrades that he suggests would put the SKX in a price point of between $400 and $500. So, yeah, what do I think about all of that? Well, first of all, I don't think it would come in at a price point of $400 to $500 if they did all of the upgrades that he's talking about, particularly sourcing Swiss ETA movements. I don't know. I mean, I have nothing to back that up. Let's just say I got a gut feeling that we're talking about a much more expensive piece because of that. So let's start. What do I think about the movement idea? Well, first of all, I would not go with the Swiss ETA movement. Seiko is basically known for their in-house movements, including the 7S26. I would like to see them upgrade the movement. I'd be happy if they upgraded it to one of the 4Rs, the 4R35, 4R36, just so that we could get the hand winding and hacking. I don't know if it should be upgraded to the 6R15 movement, which would offer better power reserve and it would offer better accuracy, because it would increase the price, I think, pretty significantly. But even just upgrading it to the 4R would be a welcomed improvement in my mind. Now, transparent case back. Oh, I'm sorry. He said, did I mention he said transparent case back with a sapphire crystal and the tsunami engravings on the new ETA movements rotor? I'm totally not on board there. There's no reason to have a transparent case back on a dive watch. I assume meeting the ISO standards for being called a dive watch and maintaining 200 meters of water resist would probably be compromised if you had a transparent case back, and even if it wasn't, I just don't see the point. So no, I disagree. Now, what I would say about the case back is I've seen pictures of I want to say it's the Sumo's case back, and it's a little bit nicer looking. It's the same overall motif, but the logo and the branding is more of like an engraved thing. If I'm thinking of the correct watch, I think I am. I believe that was the Sumo. So they could upgrade the case back and make it a little nicer looking, but I could totally leave that off the list of things that I personally would do. Now, ceramic bezel with improved click, and which again I guess he means the spring. Again, I could take or leave that. I don't mind the bezel as it is on the SKX with the aluminum insert. Ceramic, I guess, looks a little bit nicer, but if that's something that's going to increase the price substantially, I would say no. I would say leave it as is. Applied markers and logo on the dial. Now the Sumo, for sure, I know has applied markers. The Shogun, which is a pretty expensive watch, that has applied markers. I'm not positive if the Turtle does in the pictures that I've seen. I can't remember. I've never had a Turtle in hand. Maybe that has applied markers. I mean, my point is, like, everything has applied markers now coming out of Seiko, it seems. So sure, why not? I mean, I don't care either way. Again, that's not something that I need. Upgrade the bracelet, I'm with him on that one. The Jubilee bracelet, as you can see, I've never even really used mine, other than I put it on and tried it on. Very quickly, I just switched it over to the NATO that you see on the bracelet, or on the watch right now. That's a Blue Shark, Alpha Shark vintage bond. So yeah, totally. I would love to see solid end links. I would love to see better links overall. Now, he had mentioned on his also that he wanted a milled clasp. Yeah, that would be cool, but something that's weird, he said that he didn't like the logo on the clasp as it is. So we're talking about the Seiko logo right there. But he suggested just changing it to like an S or whatever. I don't know, that seems like changing things just for the sake of changing them. I guess I don't really care. It's not something that's on my radar. But, yeah, whatever. Now, one thing that he didn't mention was the actual crystal on the face of the watch. I mean, that's something that could be upgraded. That could be a sapphire. That would be really cool. We have Seiko's Hard Lux, or however they say it, crystal on there right now. We could upgrade that to sapphire. I'd be down with that. That's a thought. Other than that, I mean, this is a pretty perfect watch in my mind. Yeah, it's a lower end, budget-priced watch, and it doesn't have all of the features that some of the higher-end watches do possess. But, you know, that's what he's talking about, is pushing this into the high end with all of those upgrades. And, excuse me, that was my phone dinging, which I'm sure you guys heard. I forgot to put that on silent. Anyway, I don't want to push the SKX into the high end. They've already got some and I guess it wouldn't really be high-end. Mid-range, I guess, would be a better term. You know, they've already got the Sumo. They've already got the Shogun. They've got a number of dive watches that are in the mid-range and start approaching the high-end when you look at the Shogun coming in at $900 to $1,000. And then you get into the Grand Seikos, and there's dive watches in there and up in there. So yeah, I don't want that personally. What I want is an upgraded movement with hand winding and hacking. I prefer that they keep it be an in-house Seiko movement. Again, the 4R is my suggestion. It's what makes Seiko a Seiko. I don't want to see them throw a Swiss ETA movement in them. And again, you know, he'd mentioned in his video he wanted it to be a regulated movement. I don't think Seiko really regulates their movements out of the factory. I think they're just maybe machine regulated. But anyway, that's more cost. It's probably not necessary. I've never seen a Seiko watch come outside of spec, and they're relatively easy to regulate yourself or have them regulated by a watchmaker. So it's just not really an issue. That's not an added cost that I want to absorb. So, you know, that's my idea. Answering again his question, should Seiko do this, and do I think I'm crazy, is what Watch Addict said. Yeah, some of the things Seiko should do. Are you crazy? Yeah, a little bit crazy when it comes to putting an ETA movement in the watch. Maybe a little bit crazy with the transparent case back. I don't know. I'm not digging that idea either. But I appreciate you coming up with this topic and, you know, basically giving me something to think about. Because as you guys know from my hour-plus long SKX review video, this is one of my favorite watches, and it's really, really, really a great watch, but it's not without some flaws, and it could always use some improvements. I don't want to see it jump into that $500 price range. I like that it's a $200-ish watch. I could see it going up to $300, and I would still be pretty happy with it if it had, again, a slightly upgraded movement, maybe a few very minor little updates here and there, in particular maybe the bracelet. But yeah, I don't want to see them go crazy with this watch. What Watch Addict is talking about in his video is them just making a completely new watch. Basically, a Sumo in the SKX case. That's kind of what he's talking about, right? He wants to see a Sumo in the SKX case. Why don't they just do that? Why don't they make an SKX, 957, just some random numbers instead of a 007 or a 009 or whatever? You know, they could do that. That's one thing that I love about the SKX is the case itself. And one reason why I haven't gotten a turtle yet is I don't really like the turtle case. I don't really like the Sumo case either. A Shogun might be in my future though. We'll see about that. All right, guys. Well, I just wanted to do this quick response video to Watch Addict's question or ideas regarding what he would do if he were the CEO of Seiko. It was kind of fun. Thanks for throwing that out there, Watch Addict, and thanks you guys for tuning in and checking out the video. I'll put a link to his original video down in the notes section of this video, so you guys should go over there and watch his original video and comment on that as well. Also down in the notes we'll have links to my social media, Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and all that stuff. So thanks again for tuning in. We will catch you in the next video. All right, bye.